Welcome to the last phone standing, the most awaited show of the year, because this is where we actually discover it all. What we've all been working for, what we've been buying, what we are saying is a great phone, what is a big mistake, what was a marketing tactic by companies, and what turned out to be a true winner. Dark horses and fantastic phones. Everything comes together in one, in the last phone standing. Today, we have our first show in a series of two. And you know the format, but I'll take you through for all those that are joining us for the first time. We have two categories. The first one is the best phones of 2019 under 20,000 rupees. And that's what we'll explore today. When we come back next week, we'll do it irrespective of budget. We don't care about the budget. It's the best phone of 2019, irrespective of the money you paid. The format is very simple. We have 5 experts out here. Each of them represent a phone. They'll talk about that phone. They'll tell us the best features, why it should be the phone of the year. We've got a great audience out here that will actually talk to them, quiz them, ask them questions about whether they got that presentation right or not. And then we'll get a vote from the panel, we'll get a vote from the audience, and we'll declare the last phone standing. Let's get started with giving you the contenders. Remember, every year we do this. We start off with a list of about 100 to 150 phones, and we whittle it down to that final top 5. But we always have some special mentions. So let's get started. These are the contenders. Top phones of 2019 under 20,000 rupees.
The contenders for the last phone standing 2019 under 20k are Realme XT, Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro, Samsung A50s, Vivo Z1X, Nokia 7.2, and a special mention to the Oppo K3 in this segment.
Okay, so you saw the top 5 phones. You also saw the special mentions out there. Those are also fantastic phones. If we'd included it, they could well have won. But right now, it's time to get started with our first presenter of the day, and that is Dhruv, and he's got the Realme XT. Okay, Dhruv, remember, you've got 60 seconds to actually encapsulate the entire year and how well this phone really is on the Realme XT phone.
Basically comes down to that everybody likes a good value, and Realme's really doubled down on the value quotient. They focused on the 3 key areas that most users want in a sub 20,000 rupee phone. It's got a great design, it's got the performance, and it's got a great camera as well, which is something that many of the competitors have been, well, they've been talking about in terms of megapixels or whatever, but the results haven't really delivered, and Realme actually has delivered the results. They've almost taken Xiaomi's model and perfected it this year, which is really surprising to see. And it's also doubling down on the price, and it's just a great value for money phone, which looks good, gets you the performance, and has a fantastic camera. What else can you want in a sub 20,000 rupee phone? The
Realme XT is a great phone, but talking about that business model that you spoke about, Realme came in wanting to kill Xiaomi. Xiaomi's market numbers still remain absolutely the same. So did Realme take away only the market from others? Because Xiaomi doesn't seem to have lost any market share at all.
I mean, India in general has the biggest growth potential for smartphones in the world. So while they might want to kill Xiaomi, and they might get there eventually, the idea is that they've grown massively year on year, and you know that's good enough for them. It's big business for them. So it doesn't really matter if they've put a massive dent into Xiaomi's share or not. As a business, they've grown massively.
Okay, great. All right, audience, a question for Dhruv on the Realme XT.
My name is Vishal Kumar. My question is Xiaomi established itself as a budget king which can be trusted. Can Realme also be trusted?
Sure, like people trusted Xiaomi, right, when they came into the market. They delivered with good products, and I think the Realme speaks for itself. The product is good. It does exactly what it promises. So why would you not trust the brand as a company?
All right, so time now for the panel to come up with their part of the scoring. In the meanwhile, we're going to go to the audience. If you believe that the Realme XT is the best phone of 2019 under 20,000, then show me your green card, otherwise show me a red. So about 35 out of 50 for the audience, which is great. Thank you, Dhruv. Thank you very much. Thank you. Give him a big hand. Okay, so last phone standing is on its way, and now presenting in second with the Vivo phone, the Vivo Z1X, is Nikhil.
Hi guys, this is the Vivo Z1X for Gen Z like you and me, the millennials. And the reason it's called the Z1X is it's the phone for the millennials. You like gaming, you like PUBG, you like clicking photos, like posting it on social media. This phone does it all. It's got 32 megapixel selfie camera, the best of Snapdragon processor in this category, a massive 4500 mAh battery. It's got the fastest charging out of all the lot, 22.5 watt charging that gives you 5 minutes of charging, gives you 3 hours of talk time. So you're never missing out on those calls, that gaming, those clicking selfies, those TikTok videos. Get them all with this one phone. And talking about the brand awareness of Vivo, we all know that it's been there before most of these brands. You have the service centers, you got everything. So I think this should be the last phone standing.
All right, Cyrus.
So Nikhil, you mentioned under 15K, a काफी अच्छा contender है, but I just wanted to understand, do you think they've marketed this phone appropriately as much as you're telling us about it? Do you think Vivo has done justice to this phone?
I think there was a gap. I felt that because it was their first online-only product and they were like really not gung-ho about it. But then when you know, this is our job to do that as reviewers. We are testing phones throughout the year, and when we tested those devices, and almost all critics really appreciated the device. And obviously, it has come out well. So if Vivo didn't do the job, we are trying to do it there for them.
Time now to actually take a vote while you guys score it. I'm going to take a vote from the audience. I would also go with about 32. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. Thank you very much for the presentation. All right, so we're moving on. 2 phones done, 3 to go, and the next one is being presented by Cyrus, and this is the Samsung A50s. Cyrus, all yours.
So when you're talking about a flagship brand in the country, Samsung comes to your mind, right? So when Samsung brings its expertise and flagship into the sub 20K category, you get a phone like the A50s. Now this phone has everything that you would that you would want in this category, be it a good battery, a very good display, and an excellent processor. You want to game, you want to make TikTok videos, you want to binge watch, it offers all. But what it brings to the game is features like Samsung Pay. I mean, NFC payments are really something that are picking up. And you can use this phone. You don't have to carry your card, just tap and pay. That is something you can use. Fast charging is something that is offering 4000 mAh of battery. It just gives you a full day's charge. So not only Samsung brings its expertise, its brand chain, its brand value to the market, but it's getting a phone that offers everything that you would want in a subcategory. Brilliant display, battery life, and a good processor with extra features. That's the A50s.
Samsung plays in very, very different price zones. They're playing under 10,000 also, and they're now playing in the above 1,50,000 also. You think that can become a bit of a problem for them because, you know, a person seems to think that, okay, this is the brand value seems to suffer because if I'm buying a phone for 5,000, 7,000, then maybe I don't want to buy a phone that is very, very expensive. You think that could be a problem with bringing out a phone like the A50s?
I really don't think so, Rajiv, because I think it's the need of the hour. Samsung as a company is adapting to how it needs to sell in different markets. I'm sure when it's selling phones anywhere else in the world, it wouldn't be bringing out these price segments. But in India, where there is need, where there is a demand for this particular segment, I think Samsung is just learning from the market. It's adapting itself, and bringing phones in this category has worked for it. Yes, flagships is something that it has perfected, but in terms of the under 20, under 10 category, it's still learning, and I think it's really hit the spot with this kind of offering products in this price range.
I have been using Samsung phone for quite a while, and now I have shifted. You were talking about gaming, so I also play games, but the processor is not worth it.
Okay, so when you say this, it has an AMOLED screen, yes, there are pros and cons of the AMOLED screen. It will take up some battery life, but it also gives you a rich experience when you're watching videos on display. So a bit of compromise is there in terms of battery life, but if you have a 4000 mAh battery and fast charging bundled with it, so that's something that shouldn't be a problem in the longer run. And in terms of gaming, yes, the processor is in the mid-range. You can't be running high-definition games in high-end graphics. You need to tone down the graphics a bit because it has a dedicated gaming mode. So if you run like high graphics, not ultra-high, I think it shouldn't be a problem for you.
All right, great. So now it's time for the panel to score it. And while I go to the audience to get their verdict, क्या Samsung A50s आपके हिसाब से है 2019 का phone of the year under 20,000 rupees? Green, if you agree. Red, if you don't agree. All right, 30 is I think what we should actually close it on. So we've got some more phones to go through, but of course, let's take a look at some subcategories that we do every year. And here's a very interesting one that I think this year became really the most brutal market in India. Best phone under 10,000 rupees. Let's find out from our panel. Cyrus, what would you say?
I would think the Redmi Note 8.
The Redmi Note 8. Yeah. All right, Nikhil?
I feel the same, Redmi Note 8.
The Xiaomi Redmi Note 8. Dhruv?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that as well.
Redmi Note 8. I'm surprised no one's gone with the Realme right now. I thought that would also get a few votes out here. What about you, Clinton?
I'm going to have to also say the Redmi Note 8.
The Redmi Note 8. So
do I even have to say anything? I think this is one of those unanimous situations. Yeah. Redmi
all
Note
right,
8.
great. So we actually have unanimity in this. So we've declared it now. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 is the best phone under 10,000 rupees. Three phones are done. That means just 2 to go. And the person now representing the fourth phone in our series is Swapnil. And he's got the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro. Swapnil.
So in this segment, normally you get phones that say, maybe tone down the graphics settings, maybe don't expect so much. But that's where the Redmi Note 8 Pro stands apart from everybody else. It says, play the games you want to play at the highest graphical settings. Do that. Go out, take photos, whether it's in good light or low light, or whether it's that macro shot you want, because the Redmi Note 8 Pro does offer a dedicated macro lens. So you've got 64 megapixels of resolution on the main camera, which is great if you want to shoot something with detail, or you could just bin it if you want better low light results. You want to play PUBG? Yeah, turn your graphics all the way to high. I've done that, and the phone runs absolutely fine, right? So that's where we are at. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro does not let you compromise. It does not say compromise on this or that. It says get the best experience for the least amount of money possible, which is under 15K.
All right, great. So that was the presentation. Let's find out what we have as questions. Dhruv.
So Swapnil, you said that you don't compromise on camera, performance, etc., etc., and I agree with you. But what are your thoughts on the fact that you compromise on your privacy? You compromise on the fact that every single time you install an app, there is an ad. You watch a video, there is an ad. There are ads everywhere in the phone. Are you okay with compromising on that?
So here's the trade-off. Yes, you have ads running, but you can also install another launcher to get a better experience out of it, right? That's one. Secondly, Xiaomi is selling these devices at throwaway prices. And how are they doing that? They have to make money somewhere to compensate, right? So ads, bundled apps, that becomes, a way for them to make money. So the trade-off here is if you want Xiaomi to keep making these great value for money devices, they have to make money somewhere else. And this is sort of where they do it. So that's the trade-off.
Are offering similarly well-performing phones without doing this to the same degree.
Similar, but not the same. So if you look at
comes very close.
Close, but not close enough, especially when it comes to gaming.
It's debatable.
That's why we're here. We can debate this later if you would like. But the idea is this is about the best, not close enough, not good enough, but about the very best. And that's where the Redmi Note 8 Pro stands.
Questions from the audience?
इस सेगमेंट में आपको नहीं लगता कि K20 एक बेहतर विकल्प होता?
The Xiaomi K20 could have been the better phone, yes, but it also costs more. We have the Note 8 Pro, which is cheaper, much cheaper, and sure, it spec to spec on paper, it looks like an inferior device, but what is the experience you're getting? That is the most important thing. And the fact is, for somebody spending almost 5,000, 6,000 rupees less, the experience is absolutely phenomenal. And the K20, when you start spending that extra money, you also want more out of it. So, that is what the debate here really is, that do you want to spend less and still get exceptional value, or do you want to spend more on a more expensive device and get similar value?
Who else has a question?
My friends use Xiaomi phone and I myself use a pure Android phone. My 4GB variant competes with their 6GB variant. Don't you think that MIUI is too heavy for the phone?
When you say that it's your 4GB versus their 6GB, one is, it's not necessary that it's always the UI that's taking up all of the RAM.
It's all the ads that are playing, right?
It could be, wow. You know, it could be the number of apps you have open in the background. It could be a multitude of things. It could also sometimes be a faulty software update. So there are a lot of things that go on. From what we have seen with MIUI, for example, from MIUI 8, 9 and now 10, is that it's been really aggressively managing the amount of RAM available. Now, what it will come down to is when you play PUBG on your phone at the highest graphic settings versus your friend who will play PUBG at highest graphic settings on his Redmi Note 8 Pro, who's going to get the better performance? It's not going to be you, it's going to be him.
Okay, we've got all the questions. Time for you to score it. Time for the audience to tell me if the Xiaomi phone is the phone of the year. All right, so we're going to give a 39 for the audience on this one. The rest, of course, is scored by all of you. All right, last phone standing, last phone to be presented. This is the Nokia 7.2. And telling us all about it is Clinton. Clinton, please. Clinton, the 7.2 has 60 seconds of our time.
All right, we're saving the best for last. You know, this is a no-brainer because with the Nokia 7.2, you have a phone from a brand that you can trust. Now, you know, Nokia's been a company that's been selling phones for a very long time. It's maybe the pioneer in phones. And when you look at the 7.2 in particular, there's so much that it does good. When it comes to design, it's unique. It doesn't look the same as the other competition out there. When you think about software, this is pure Android. So you don't have ads taking up your RAM. You have a pure experience like Google intended it to be. When it comes to camera, you have one of the best cameras in the price range, and you have an ultra-wide angle camera as well. And then when it comes to battery life, you still have 2-day battery, which again is not very common in that price range. When you put it all together, it's a phone that you can trust from a brand that you can trust. And that, I think, is the reason why the 7.2 really stands out versus what else you get in this price range.
Great, Clinton. Very nicely presented. Nokia will be very happy. All right, gentlemen. We have questions from the panel. Nikhil?
Hi, CJ. I just wanted to know, like, Nokia has been known for its hardware and software, but we are a specs-hungry nation. We want the best of specs and the least of money. How long do you think Nokia can play that card that we give you the stock Android experience?
Actually, you know, I feel like the specs-hungry thing is a marketing tactic used by all these other companies. They want you to go for the best specs, the best specs. They're trying to fool you from the other messaging, which is, what are you getting at the cost of that specs? Are you getting ads in your UI? Can you really trust the company with what they're doing with your data? You know, so they're trying to sell you specs as in like, okay, this is the best phone you can get in terms of specs. Like, this is the fastest phone. This is the most powerful phone you can get. That's nice. Okay, sure. But can you actually really trust that phone? Is build quality as good as the Nokia 7.2? Come on, guys. Nokia is known for build quality. Camera, they're getting better and better at camera every day. So at the end of the day, maybe it doesn't have the latest specs in terms of just the processor, but in terms of everything else with pure Android, I have a pure Android fan over here. So in terms of all of that, the specs aren't really that bad on this phone.
All right. So we've got it. That was the fifth phone. That was the last phone in our last phone standing to be presented. I'd like you to score it. And of course, audience, क्या Nokia 7.2 है आपका phone of the year? Look at what we're getting. Am I right? Yeah. Panel? About 27. Okay. So all phones have been presented. Now let's move on to the most innovative phone of the year. And we want to also know, what is that innovative feature that really distinguished this phone? We'll take a vote from our panel. Cyrus?
Undoubtedly the Fold.
Samsung Galaxy Fold from Cyrus. Nikhil?
Galaxy Fold innovation.
The Samsung Galaxy Fold, the innovation being the folding screen.
Yeah, the Galaxy Fold, it definitely changed my outlook towards how
what
phones
a
can be
phone
used.
can actually do and will be. All right.
I'm going to say Galaxy Fold too.
Okay. So that then is, what about
The Fold.
the Samsung Galaxy Fold? So that's pretty shocking actually. Okay. We've actually got unanimity in the second category also we've done. The Samsung Galaxy Fold with its folding screen is the most innovative phone of the year. Okay, the results are with me right now and I'm going to declare it right now. This is, I think, the third or fourth year running where the top three phones have a difference of 2 points or less. Remember, all 5 phones you have actually made it are true winners, but the fifth is the Samsung A50s. Starting on further, Nokia 7.2 comes in fourth. The Vivo Z1X comes in third. Realme XT is the final winner, total panel ke count se and audience ke count se. Congratulations to Realme, congratulations to Xiaomi, congratulations to all the companies that made it to our final list. Fantastic work done in 2019. But what's going to happen in 2020, you'll only know when we come back with last phone standing 2020. Now remember, we're coming back next week with the best phone of the year. Last phone standing, irrespective of budget. Don't miss it for anything. See you then.